Hi everyone, it's me Gwen. Well, today I'm going to talk about a test set that's coming from August 24th. It took place in the morning at 11:30 a.m. And hopefully when I'm making these videos in English, I wish that lots of you, not only Koreans, but from Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, or even Taiwan, is enjoying the video and getting lots of help from them. Okay? So we're gonna get off right on with part one, and it's read a passage aloud. I'm going to read the first passage for you. And when you're reading the passage, make sure you're speaking in a louder voice. Because as always, the title of part one is Read a Text Aloud. All right? So listen carefully. If you want to get in shape while having fun, come to the Bennington Community Center. BCC offers sports and fitness classes for members of all ages. Adults, children, and teenagers are all welcome to participate. Check out our website for our full upcoming class schedule. All right, when I was reading this, I noticed the word Bennington Community Center. Now, it's also referred to as BCC here, but when you're reading the word Bennington Community Center, try to take your time and exactly pronounce the word Bennington Community Center. Okay. And when the three words are being, placed in order, it's adults with an S, and children and teenagers with also an S. So when the S's are at the end of a word, you must be careful to make the sound for those S's. So it's not adult, it's adults, and it's not teenager, but teenagers. Okay, and lastly, the word check out. We hear this all the time on the internet, on YouTube videos. When people say, look at something, they would say, go check it out, go check it out. So you hear this word in the form of check it out, check it out. But when we're reading here in this passage, it's check out, and this is a phrasal verb. And when you're reading a phrasal verb, you have to emphasize the adverb at the end, not the verb part. So it's got to be check out our website. So when I read it quicker, it's check out our website, check out our website. So you can hear more of the sound for the word out rather than check. So when you say check out our website, it sounds a little off. So it's better to say check out our website, or check it out. Okay. So let me read this once again for you guys. I'm not going to read it too fast, okay? Because it doesn't have to be too fast. If you want to get in shape while having fun, come to the Bennington Community Center. BCC offers sports and fitness classes for members of all ages. Adults, children, and teenagers are all welcome to participate. Check out our website for our full upcoming class schedule. Okay, so that was part one. All right, now we're going to move on to part two, which is describe a picture. And recently, I've been seeing more of the pictures taken in an office or sometimes a meeting room. So you may see lots of workers or office workers working together or working separately, individually on their own. So this time, it was a picture of a meeting scene, okay? And here, when I see this picture, I would say there are many people in this picture because it's really hard to exactly count the number. You can count the number of people there, but if it's not like 3, 4, 5, then just say several or many people in this picture. I would say many. All right. And they all look like office workers, right? And you may see, because there are many people in this picture, there are so many actions, different things going on. Like some people are making a gesture, some people are using their smartphone, looking at the laptop computer, talking to one another, resting her chin on her hand, those kind of things. And the hairstyle is all different and what they're wearing is different. I mean, there are so many things to talk about. And in the middle, where the big table is, you see lots of things on the table. Even though you don't know all the names for all those things there, you can just mention one or two. Like I see some documents, of course, and I see a stapler. Stapler, there's the blue stapler in the middle. Or in the background, you may see a whiteboard. It's called whiteboard. And I hear some Koreans say 화이트보드, which is wrong. It's whiteboard. And in this picture, you can only see the half of the clock, but I can still see a clock hanging there on the wall. So I can also mention about that. So with all those things included in your answer, you should give a proper ending, which is they're having a meeting. Okay, so I'm going to time myself. Again, 45 seconds. I love to use my phone. You don't have to buy a timer. You can just use your stopwatch. All right, so, well, this is a picture taken at an office. There are many people in this picture. They look like office workers. All of them are sitting around the table. Well, on the left side of the picture, there are 3 people. One of them has a beard. He's reading a document. One of them is wearing glasses. She is using her smartphone. And one of them has blonde hair and she's making a gesture and talking. In the middle of the picture, there are 2 people. One of them is using a laptop computer and one of them is looking at the laptop computer. On the right side of the picture, there are 3 people and one of them has long hair, one of them is gathering his hands, and one of them is resting her chin on her hand. And maybe they're having a meeting. Okay, so I had to quickly finish that up because I didn't have much time remaining, and actually I spoke for like 47 seconds. So when you're actually taking the test and you just have to keep talking on and on and on, and you see the timer and it gives you only like 1 or 2 more seconds, then you just keep on talking. Just don't stop there. You can get cut off, but you should just keep on talking so you can have at least like 1 more word just pushed into your recorded answer. So it's better to keep talking. I'm giving this tip to you. I've recorded another video to talk about this matter, but guys, keep on talking. That's much better than just stopping there. All right, now we're going to move on to part 3, which is this time they've asked you about traveling. Now, recently I was on a trip again. I went on a trip to Taiwan. I go to Taiwan often. And I can relate my experience to this, these questions here. Or you can make some stories up. I always tell my students, you gotta know how to talk about your travel experience. I mean, if you don't have one, just make one on your own. And I try to create the story of going to Japan, visiting Tokyo, Tokyo Tower, Tokyo Disneyland. And obviously, when you guys go to Japan, people eat sushi, ramen of all sorts. And also, you get to meet the tour guide. And if you cannot think of a Japanese name, just say, Suzuki, why not, right? So it's better to have your own story scripted before you take the test than to go there and think about your real experience and try to make that into English version, okay? So think of a travel story that you're going to use when you take the test. Now the first question is, how often do you travel around new cities? When was the last time you traveled to a new place? So basically, they're asking you for 2 different kinds of answers. How often do you travel to new places, and when was the last time you traveled to a new place? So, it's, of course, very important to time yourself. I travel around new cities once or twice a year, and last month, actually, I went to Japan for the first time. I visited many places in Japan, such as Tokyo, Osaka, and so on. It was very fun and exciting. All right, so like I told you, it's not the truth. I didn't go to Japan, but I just talked about it because I know these places, Tokyo, Osaka, in Japan. I always hear about it. So although it might not be true, it was easier for me to talk about. Now, second question, when going on a trip, would you rather ask for information from a tour booth or a visitor center? Now, after this test, lots of students came to me and asked, teacher, what is a tour booth and what is a visitor center? And I'm like, it doesn't matter whether you know the difference because you can just pick one and talk about your own experience related to it. So when I, see the word a tour booth, it's more like a smaller version of a tour center. So maybe 1 or 2 people can fit in. A visitor center might be a bigger place. I don't know. I'm not sure. But, that's what I think the difference is. So whichever one you choose, you can just relate it to your own experience. So I would say, I would rather ask for information from a tour booth while traveling in Japan. I wanted to go to Tokyo Tower, but unfortunately, I didn't know how to get there, so I went to a tour booth. They gave me a map, and I was able to find it easily. See, It didn't have to be a tour booth. It didn't necessarily have to be a tour booth. I could have just said a visitor center. But you know what? The thing is, I actually mentioned my personal experience of going there and getting help. So it worked. Now, the last question is, would you prefer working at a tour booth or a visitor center? Now, would you prefer to work? Which one? Well, that also doesn't matter, right? So I would prefer working at a tour booth. Actually, when I was in Japan, I often got lost. And thankfully, there were many tour booths. I was able to ask for help there. And they provided English service, so I was able to communicate with them. I want to work at a tour booth in Korea. And I want to help foreigners with my English skills. That is why I would prefer working at a tour booth. It would be very meaningful for me. I can help people using my English. All right. So for me, I focused more on my English ability because I know how to speak English. I want to use my English skills, and I want to work at either a tour booth or a visitor center, and I want to help the foreigners. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a tour booth or a visitor center. They're not going to care, actually. They're not going to care, okay? And I don't see a big difference there. So just choose one, and you can talk about why you want to go there. You can relate to your experience. The whole purpose of this is talking more. You have to talk as much as you can. So always remember, talk about your experience, because your experience is the thing that you know the most, or make up your own experience that you're going to talk about, okay? All right, now we're going to move on to part 4, and I see here on the top, upcoming event schedule, August. Okay, so there are various kinds of dates here on the left side with different hours, and in the middle, or on the right side, you can see what kind of events are being held. Some of them are the host names, and some of them are themes. And on the bottom, as always, there is the participation fee, which says $20 for non-residents, and $10 for local residents. Right. You know what? What's interesting here is there's something called History of Urbana Apple Pie and Apple Pie Baking Contest. And if this was like a real thing, I would really like to go there. I love apple pies. You know what? The best apple pie that I've had in the world is actually the McDonald's apple pie. That's my personal opinion, but I love it. So when I get the McDelivery service, they have delivery service in Korea, I would order all other things plus 3 or 4 extra apple pies. So I would put them in my fridge and then have them once or twice in a week. And I really love them. It's better when they're cold, but it's best when they're hot. So, either way, I love McDonald's apple pie. All right, so the first question, when are we giving a tour for the middle school students? Now, it's right there on the top. Also, what time will that begin? So they're asking about the middle school student tour, which is the first event, and what time it'll begin. So basically, when and what time. You know the expression, or if you don't know it, use it will be held on August 2nd. It will start at 10 a.m. If you have more time, you can say it will finish at 12 p.m. or at noon. Okay, so a lot of people ask me about whether they should only provide the answer part or add on more information there, and I love to add on more information there because I like to talk on and on and on and show them, sort of show off I can speak English well. So I try to talk more, and I always don't remember to say, oh, please don't forget that, or please remember that, or please keep that in mind to fulfill that 15-second time. All right, it's better to talk more. Just remember that. And question number 8, as far as I know, we're doing an event about the history of apple pie on August 29th. Now, is that true? August 29th. And it's not true because apparently here on the chart it says August 21st, right? Whoops, I just said the answer. So I would say, no, you have the wrong information. On August 21st at 11 a.m., Eva Barnett will lead an event on History of Urbana Apple Pie and Apple Baking Contest. Now, notice how I said lead an event on History of Urbana Apple Pie. Okay, so I didn't just say she will let's say history, there is history of Urbana apple pie. I said there will be an event, or she will lead an event on history of Urbana apple pie and pie baking contest. So you got to know that that's like the title of the event, and you should know how to relate that part to the whole sentence. So that's how I said it. And instead of saying, no, 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 I said, no, you have the wrong information. So those are some expressions that you could, memorize in chunk so you can use it for the next time. You can remember it for the next time. Now, going on to question number 9, I'd like to know whatever you can tell me regarding upcoming lecture events. Lecture. And could you give me all the details about them? Now, when it comes to lecture, normally somebody will give a lecture. Or there will be a lecture on something given by. So the word lecture naturally goes with the verb give. Just remember that. So there are 2. Now on August 6th at 2 p.m., there will be a guest lecture on historical figures of Urbana given by Professor Edna Walker. And on August 25th from 1 to 3 p.m., Professor David Frost will give a guest lecture on local culture and traditions. Now, both of them should be helpful. Okay, so when I'm talking about 2 lectures, I prefer to start first one using the subject, the person's name, and the second one by starting off with there will be. So you can show them that you know how to use different kinds of sentence structure, and that's very important, right? It's sort of like paraphrasing, you know how to like work with the words, so you can just like start a different way. And it's very important if you want to get level 7 higher or even 8, 200, like me. So just play around with the sentences that you know how to use. Don't stick with the same pattern. Okay, now moving on to part 5. This is a message. You can see a phone. And when you see the ETS actual phone, I was mentioning this in my class today, it's so old. Gosh, guys at ETS, are you listening? I mean, like, who is using that kind of phone nowadays? I've never seen one. And nowadays, it's really hard to see a phone, actually. So it's a very old looking phone, but it doesn't matter actually. You see a phone, you automatically would know that you will get one person's message. All right, so I'm going to say like I'm Rachel Pollard. Listen carefully. Hello, this is Rachel Pollard, the CEO of Pollard Hair Salon. And since you're the manager, I'm sure that you have noticed that a lot of customers bring their children when they come for a haircut. Although it is good for business, our salon doesn't have a place for the children to wait while other people are getting haircuts. The children like to play and run around, but that bothers our hairstylist and the other customers. I've been thinking about this problem, and I think the best thing to do is to make a waiting room that children would be interested in. However, I'm not sure what children like these days. That's why I'm calling you for some advice. As the manager of our hair salon, I'd like you to come up with some plans for a waiting room designed for children. Now, please think about this and call me back at extension 2. I look forward to hearing your ideas. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was the message that you will get if you are taking the test. And now, I don't know why, but they always get the setting of hair salon, and the hairstylist or the CEO calls you. And it always relates to the child or children matters, right? They're either trying to attract more children as their customers, or they're having like lots of children coming in. They're causing distractions, noise, they're bothering other people. So it's causing a lot of problem, blah, 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 which was the situation here. And I've, been around a lot of kids. I don't have kids myself, but my friends, they have like 1, 2, sometimes 3 kids. And like they're going crazy all the time. I'm together with them. They run around. They're like, Auntie, do this for me, do this for me. I'm like, okay, guys, I can't. I don't know how to deal with you guys. But now here, you gotta give a solution to deal with them. So I would say, why don't you play animations? That's what kids like. Or why don't you buy PlayStation? Right? They love to play Nintendo, PlayStation, and or why don't you buy some toys? Why don't you, give them some snacks in the waiting room for the kids? They love it. Chocolate, candies. They would love it. So those kind of things, talk about those things related to children, the terms that are related to children, and the ETS people, the raters, would know that you totally understood what's going on here, and those solutions really fit well for this kind of situation, so you're gonna get good scores. So again, when you're talking for 1 minute, you cannot talk on and on and on and on and on, so it's better to work with a template. All right, and I'm going to show you how I use my template, and I put all these kind of information in the template and finish it in 1 minute. So listen carefully. Hello, this is Gwen. I heard that you are the CEO of the hair salon and I'm the manager. Hello, boss. And a lot of people are bringing their children with them to our hair salon, and there's a problem because children are too noisy. And so you will make a waiting room for the kids, but you don't know what children would like in that waiting room. So you'd like to get some help with this matter. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear about the situation. However, I'm happy to say that there is a way to help you out. And after looking into the situation, I came up with the following suggestions. Well, first, I think it is a good idea to offer cookies and candies to children in that room. That should be very nice. Or why don't you show animation movies in the waiting room? That should be very, very attractive for kids. Well, those are my suggestions, and if you need more help from me, just feel free to call me back anytime. Bye. All right, so I spoke for 1 minute. I know I talk fast, but I try to stay within that template, okay? I try to stay within the template, and I was trying to show more things that I understood from the message and more things I wanted to say about the solution, possible solutions, so it would relate to the whole message. And that's how you get level 8 to 100. Now I'm going to move on to the last part, which is part 6. Would you prefer to work an easy job with a low salary or a difficult job with a high salary? Now, if you're given 2 choices, this is what you can do. You can just work with one side, which is easy job with low salary, and I'm happy. Or you could say, oh, I have a difficult job, but I have a high salary, so I'm happy. You can just work with one. Or you can sort of combine the 2, which is I like to do, because I like to talk fast and talk about many things. So first, I would go with the experience of the company called ABC. I would say I got a high salary, lots of, tasks, a difficult job, very complicated, headache. So it, stressful, I quit. Now I move on. Now, if I worked at ABC company, it's going to be a different company. So I'm going to say XYZ company, all right? Now this time it's going to be an easy job, a low salary, but you know what? I get off work on time. I can enjoy my life doing blah, 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 blah. Happy, done, okay? So if you're not a fast talker, if you can't talk quickly or fast like me, then just stick with one, either an easy job or a difficult job. Just stick with one side. But if you can talk, if you can finish your answer within 1 minute, comparing the 2, you can go for both. Okay? So, it's never good to go say it depends on the situation for part 6. You got to just stay with one opinion, okay? It's not here and then there and then here. I am going to mention both, but I'm definitely going to say that easy job suits me better. Okay, so I'm going to talk for 1 minute. Now, I would prefer to work an easy job with a low salary, and there are several reasons to support my opinion. Well, most of all, it's better for me. For example, last year, I got a job at ABC Company. It was a big company and I had lots of difficult tasks. I got a high salary, but there was a big workload. So I had to work day and night. It was super stressful. I wasn't happy because I wasn't able to enjoy my life after work. Eventually, I quit my job and moved to XYZ company. Now, I work there. It's an easy job and there's a smaller workload, so I can get off work on time. Although I get a low salary, but it doesn't matter because I'm much happier. I can enjoy my life after work. I can meet my friends. I can learn something new. I can watch movies. It's great. Overall, I'm more satisfied with my current job, so that is why I think so. Okay, so I was comparing the two, but the overall like situation at the end, it sums down to I like easy job. I like easy job with low salary. Okay. So you cannot go here and that. You cannot say it depends on the situation for part 6. That works with part 3, but for part 6 you got to take one side. You got to take a stand. Okay. All right, so today we talked about a test set that's coming from the August 24th at 11:30, and I think overall the test questions were quite moderate. None of them are really super, difficult or super hard to approach. So I think if you had studied or if you had prepared for this test, I'm pretty sure most of them were very easy, not very easy, but okay to answer. But if you haven't taken the test, now this is just like the normal test set that you will get. So try to practice more on our channel. Take the test every Monday. Is it Monday or Tuesday? And wait for me to give you a model response. It doesn't have to be like my answers, but you can just take them into consideration and make it into your own version. Okay? So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.